about getting firebombed in our cities and our homes at night and having to run to an underground tunnel every time the siren went off. You know? So Americans need to put themselves in check on how much they did in World War II. However, we did add quite a bit of beef to the Allied machine, didn't we? And did kick some ass once we got on the ground. And that's a good thing. We can be proud of that. But don't be confused about who lost what and who invested what in World War II, because the English and the Russians gave a great deal. And we don't even talk about the French, those poor people. That's a whole nother show. We're not even getting into it. But you know, from the preparation of the defensive line to the reaction of the public when the Nazis showed up, it was all a mistake, all bad. The only people that endured through that were the French resistance, and we should give them a couple of high fives and a hey, yo, what up? You know what I'm saying? YOLO, bitches, go blow up a railroad. That's what I'm talking about. What the U.S. alone did in just under 100 years in our mental health systems. Apocalypse says much of the Axis forces were stuck in Italy and wanted to surrender. Army Group C, 600,000 troops, but Stalin didn't okay the surrender, so it kept going another 6 months. I didn't know that part. Did not know that. I know he had plenty, millions. I think eventually it went into the millions of soldiers that surrendered, and very few of them made it back. Something like 10% of the German soldiers under Russia at the time were eventually to return home. So you can imagine how that went. They were pretty pissed. But let's get away from World War II for now, because I want to stay at least somewhat on topic, and I haven't gone into freestyle mode yet. I think us guys, we could talk about World War II all night and learn new things, but there's an element of national pride at play. There's an element of hindsight that we never give enough credit to. You know, if you were there, if you were right there, December 7th, 1941, if you were right there, June 6th, 1944, you would see that whole time differently than we see it today, because hindsight is so illuminating. You get a bunch of new pieces of the puzzle in that you can put into your collage there to get a better picture. Not everybody had that back then. And, you know, people talk about dropping the H-bomb on Nagasaki and Hiroshima. If you calculate the losses that were saved as a result of that, that was the most humane way to end that war that we had available, of the options that the Japanese would accept. And, you know, people don't want to believe that, but take a look at the options. We were going to have to go on the mainland. And everybody there that could even pick up a fucking rifle, if they were 3 years old or older, would have had one. And they would have been firing on Allied troops. So, I don't know. You calculate the losses. I hear between something like 90 and 105,000 died as a result of the bombs. And we probably would have lost, if you count American, Japanese, English lives, we probably would have lost a total of a couple of million there. So 100,000, a couple of million. 100,000, a couple of million. I'm going with the 100,000 personally. Yeah, too bad that was the only other option. But the Japanese weren't really known to surrender unless you hit them hard. And we did what we had to do. I personally would have done the same thing myself, given the situation and the current available technology. Yeah. Anyway, that's a little too serious. Let's get back to dumb Americans, goddamn sons of bitches. Yeah. Let's see, I don't think I have any more dumb American clips loaded up, so maybe we should just go freestyle. Maybe you guys need a song. I think that's probably what you need. I like this breakdance song, but I don't know if that's the one I want to play. And I do have some of those news clips about dumb Americans and the stuff they say on network television when they're interviewed out in the field, but you've heard that before. So how about, I'm not playing that one, I don't like it. Okay, this song is called Nervous Test Pilot in Them Pants. Wrong Career, featuring Arcadian Burn versus Nervous Test Pilot. Now that sounds interesting, doesn't it? Just right off the top? Yeah, I think it does. So we'll play that here in a minute. And before that, I think I'll just lightly smash my balls into my window facing my neighbor, because I don't know why I wouldn't. It's not always a question of why do you do something, it's why not. And I think that one gets overlooked quite often. So let's line it up here. Let's get you people some music to get you fired up a little bit before we end the show in a giant orgasm. And to do that, we're going to have to do this.
On Tap is now flowing from iHeartRadio. Get your Kierstead fix by Googling Truth on Tap with Kevin A. Kierstead. All the truth you can handle, running hot on iHeart, Facebook, Spreaker, and more. You want the truth? You can't handle the truth. On Tap.
This is Don Imus. You're listening to Truth on Tap with host Kevin Kierstead. You're gonna like it, or I'll kick your ass.
Girl, I know you a dirty dancer. But what else you got in them pants?
I set the groovy groove, get everybody in jacuzzi moods. All the cute ladies and their choosy dudes as we sit and vibe to some bluesy tunes. Who wants to talk to this DJ when you're all too busy rocking your bodies? I wanna chill with the girls and their sex appeal, but nobody's over here. I think DJ was the wrong career.
Bring the chorus.
Girl, I know you were there dancing. What else you got in them hands? In them hands, in them hands, in them hands.
Come on, come on, come on.
Girl, I know you a dirty dancer. What else you got in them pants? In them pants, in them pants, in them pants, pants.
I'm tired of feeding beats to strangers in the streets, and the heat of strobe lights got me sweating all night. Alright, 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 alright. I wanna touch. Too much is never enough. It's like a sizzle when I'm soft. It's fire on the rough. Boom, the bitches drop some jaws with a turntable and a disco ball. But nobody's over here. I think DJ was the wrong career.
That's probably a correct estimation.
Girl, I know you the dirty dancer. What else you got in them hands? In them hands, in them hands, in them hands.
Come on, come on, come on.
Girl, I know you a dirty dancer. What else you got in them pants? In them pants, in them pants, in them pants, pants.
And shut up while I take this verse. My lyrics will freak you out so much you'll need a nurse. I downloaded your rhymes from a popular website. They crawled across my brain like lyrical head lice. I put them in the track to play to the world, but things became as stupid as the process unfurled. Now I'm left with this hideous mess I'd like to stress. If I stop right now, then that's for the best.
Making a worldwide vibe as the dance floor moves from side to side. Here's a bump from the bass, put them punks in their place. I'm laying it down, but nobody's even near. I think DJ was the wrong career.
Girl, I know you's a dirty dancer. Now what else you got in them?
In them hands, in them hands.
Come on, come on, come on.
Girl, I know you a dirty dancer. What else you got in them pants? In them pants, in them pants, in them pants, pants.
Ironic sort of pseudo boogie section. Sounds a bit like Hot Chip, but I don't really like Hot Chip that much, so bit of a shame. My name is Nervous Test Pilot. I don't spit game because I don't know what that means, and also spitting is a bit rude. This record has been called In Them Pants, Brackets, Wrong Career, and has featured the vocal stylings of myself and Mr. Acradian Byrne. We hope that you will respect others and lead a more productive life henceforth.
Our little game of tag is at an end, and it's time to go. Except you'll be leaving in rather a spectacular way, in little pieces, along with this building.
Listening to Truth on Tap with host Kevin Kierstead.
And now, 5 stupid things about Alex Jones.
Hey, here are 5 stupid things I've noticed about Alex Jones. He's still alive. Not that I wish Alex Jones was dead. No, I don't. I actually don't. The thing is, if the government really is as evil and ruthless and inescapable as Alex Jones says it is, if he really is sounding the alarm against global totalitarianism, what the fuck is he still doing here? Why does he have a radio show, and why is he allowed to produce and distribute films? Why does he have such a prominent internet presence? Why is he invited on national cable news networks that are supposedly organs of the regime? Unless he really is telling the truth and the shadowy government conspiracy that secretly runs the world is allowing him to do it, knowing that he's a blustery buffoon who instantly discredits himself the second he opens his mouth, thus providing them with the perfect cover for their dark, evil operations. Which would mean that Alex Jones actually is a truth-telling freedom fighter rather than just a deeply deluded dumbass. But see, if he's not a deeply deluded dumbass, then why would the government... Okay, wait. His cottage industry of crazy. Jones is the CEO of Crazy Incorporated, a baron of batshit whose empire includes not only websites like InfoWars and Prison Planet, but dozens of documentary films with titles like America Destroyed by Design, and Terror Storm, and 9/11, The Road to Tyranny, and Police State 3, Total Enslavement. That last one came out about 10 years ago. I guess the New World Order is a little bit behind schedule on the whole total enslavement thing. You know, those FEMA trailers take a lot longer to convert to permanent residences than you might imagine. But out of all of those products, the signature product being sold by Alex Jones is Alex Jones, the man himself, the champion of liberty who courageously holds the megaphone up and speaks truth to power to the evil, sinister bosses of the global government who are seeking to rob the people of their freedom. Judging only by some of the images of himself he has posted on his own websites, you'd never guess that the guy has such a problem with fascism. His delusional defense of the Second Amendment, Jones's position on firearms ownership, which I believe can be expressed in all of its nuanced complexity as, "Don't you dare try to take our guns," is rooted in the premise that an armed American citizenry is the last line of defense between freedom and tyranny. See, the reason the government is plotting to take our guns away from us, which it totally is doing, by the way, is because afterwards it can finally move ahead with its plan to completely enslave the population. But if the New World Order is real, and if that's really what it wants, would small arms in the hands of citizens, even a few 100 million of them, really pose that much of an obstacle? Look, if I were a member of a global shadow government that wanted to dominate a country full of crazy gun nuts, I would identify the homes of some of the people with the biggest private gun collections and just blow their fucking houses up. And then I'd make a public announcement, and I would say something like, "Hey, guess what, everybody? There's a new lawman in town, and his name is the Drone Ranger. And if you don't want him to pay you a visit, you better march your happy ass down to your local ATF field office, turn in all your guns and ammo, and pick up your barcode and subdermal ID chip." And I'd also institute mandatory recycling, probably.
Why is the government arming to the teeth against us?
Alex, I don't
What
have...
about Fast and Furious?
Alex,
why do our government ship guns into
down.
Mexico?
Alex.
To blame the Second Amendment?
Let's have a debate.
A false flag?
Alex.
I want to blame
Alex.
the real culprit.
Alex.
Suicide pills.
Alex.
Mass murder pills.
Okay.
First time anybody's ever heard this, by the way.
Who do you believe is behind
I
this?
have the proof. I heard them on CBS
Who?
Radio.
Who, Alex?
They announced they blew up the towers on CBS Radio.
do you believe?
New Yorkers all saw it and heard it.
Alex, who do you
They
believe?
blew up Building 7.
Alex.
He exploits the ignorance and fear of his audience. Alex Jones is a parasite. He lives off the fear and ignorance he is continually stoking in the minds of those who take him seriously. Today he is a multimedia success, making a living off of the conspiracy theories he promotes and the paranoia he cultivates in his audience. 30 years ago, he would have been the guy passing out mimeographed pamphlets at the Greyhound station. And while it might be tempting to blame the success of someone as delusional, not to mention as shameless and cynical as Jones on the internet, because let's face it, without that, he never could have gotten his message out to as many people as he has, I don't blame the medium.